Right. Welcome back to another video. It's been a while. Today I'm going to talk about something that I think a lot of people have talked about already. That darn phone, as they always say. I think it skews reality. I think it gives us a very odd perception of what life actually is. Often with them, especially with the overconsumption of social media and kind of letting it just, as I said, consume your daily life. If you do anyway, it can almost make you forget and be grateful for all the little things and all the things that make life actually beautiful. An example of this is being grateful for life outside, like the birds tweeting, the sounds of leaves when there's a the sounds of leaves when there's a light breeze. You know, the sunsets, the stars on a clear night, actual social interaction with people. It's deemed kind of strange now to kind of ask a stranger how they are. All reasons for doing this and not doing this are valid. But I think just a lot of people are kind of scared, including myself actually, to just talk to a stranger and ask them how they are, or ask them like a otherwise perceived as weird question. Going up to a stranger and being like, oh, what do you think makes this day great? That is like seen as quite strange when you think about it, but there's quite a beautiful sort of innocence to it actually, because this is something that I certainly don't experience. I guess like going back to the point, because we are sort of taken over by our phones and the digital world, it's hard to remember the values and what it actually means to be a human, maybe. Just basically living in the moment is kind of drawn out of us actually. I'll give an example of this definitely because I experience it a lot. Quote unquote doom scrolling, let's face it, you do it for an hour. So that hour feels like 5 minutes. You're giving your brain that kind of sweet release of stimulation. But notice how whenever you kind of stop doom scrolling, do you notice how often strange it feels actually kind of just to tap back into the real world for a bit? More often than not when people doom scroll are like they're about to sleep, so sometimes they don't get to experience that. Say you're scrolling throughout the day, stop and pay attention what it's like to actually kind of tap back into the world after you do that. I feel like it's quite weird because it feels like you're kind of escaping one world and entering the real world. It can be quite overstimulating in terms of the perspective that you have on it, I think. My perspective, like, just kind of subjectively is, I kind of finish what I'm doing and I'm like, holy shit, like, I've kind of forgotten I'm here. I've forgotten I'm existing, I've sort of been on autopilot, and I've just been sort of forgetting and like not appreciating and not being grateful for what I'm doing. And I think the more you do it, then I think there's a pattern of you become less and less grateful and less appreciative of the moment that you're living in. Your attention is so focused on what's going on there. People see it as a time killer, people see it as, you know, just to kind of shut off their brain, as a relaxation method. You know, these are all like valid things to feel like. These are all valid reasons to have. I'm not saying it's wrong at all. I do think there is a line. I feel like if you're on your phone far too much and you know you've got stuff to do and you're putting things off and you're procrastinating and you're tapping out for a bit, I feel like that is not great. And it just becomes a, you know, kind of impulsive pattern, and it's hard to even get out of that sometimes. My point mainly is kind of what it feels like when you tap back into real life. Like, have you ever deleted social media for a week or something like that, or kind of tried to stay off your phone for like a lengthy period of time throughout the day? It's weird. It's weird when you have that detox. It's really kind of like oddly refreshing in a way, because you sort of like, when you're on that detox for a little bit, you then start to kind of remember what this is all about. I know this sounds ridiculously philosophical. I'm by all means not trying to portray like a really deep philosophical message. Depends on the perspective in which you're watching this. I'm just trying to get a point across. When you're in a public space, say for like 2-3 hours, maybe just by yourself, maybe like in a mall or like in a town centre, in like an urban space, when you're off your phone, you realise that when you look around, it looks monotonous. It kind of looks a bit dead. Everyone's just doing the same thing. Everyone's kind of just face down, looking at the screens, and life is happening all around them, all around us. And everyone's perception of life is just quite different as a result. I feel like when you're off your phone or not paying attention to what's going on online, you then allow yourself to fully embrace what's going on around you. And the more you have that detox, the more you then start to become grateful for the little things. Coinciding with that, I think fulfillment happens. I think you then start to, kind of like going back to our human roots, feel naturally happy. It's kind of like when you stare into a fire and you get that weird, warm, sort of, like, I've seen this before kind of feeling, this is what it's all about sort of feeling. Kind of like dating back to our caveman roots, you know, when we first discovered fire. It skews reality a little bit when you're on your phone too much. Because you just, with all the shit that you see that's going on in the world, you know, all the objectively bad stuff that's happening, you then could, in a destructive fashion, essentialize that to your daily existence, and then just, you forget about what's going on around you and what could make you actually really happy, you know, inside and fulfilled. You know, there's definitely lots of arguments you could make about the phone, what you use it for. It's entirely conditional, and it's a, you know, everyone's got their own subjective use of it, so it just, what I'm trying to offer is, like, from my personal experience, the perspective you can gain when you choose not to be on it as much for a certain amount of time. If you really try to, it's hard, obviously, because people use phones for communication, day-to-day life activities, really, and a lot of people work on their phones or computers or whatever. But you just then, you can be grateful with like just a walk in the park or something like that. Yeah, that's my take on that, you know. Made a few points, made a few counters. Make of what you will of this video. I mean, you know, the whole idea is to come out kind of questioning a little bit, and you know. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.